I want to speak to you, my toddler, and it must be right now. Yes, I recognize you've got opened this video message due to the fact you also are looking for my message. And allow me make it clear to you that you aren't right here by means of twist of fate. The whole lot this is taking place in your lifestyles has a which means behind it. Sure, every single aspect is occurring just as it became intended to occur. And this isn't because of my will alone, however your unfastened will too. Toddler, I've watched over you from the very starting. Earlier than you ever took your first breath, earlier than your coronary heart began to conquer to your mother's womb, I already knew you. I knew every strand of hair that might grow for your head, every tear that could fall from your eyes, and every choice that might stir inside your heart. Nothing approximately you is a mystery to me. I shaped you with aim. You are not a mistake, not a twist of fate, not a byproduct of risk. You are my layout. I've located eternity for your coronary heart. The day you experience deep within, that longing you cannot give an explanation for, is the echo of your foundation. It smiles your spirit remembering me. You sense it often, particularly in the quiet moments when the noise fades and your soul reaches out for something greater. That something is me. I have by no means been far. Even within the moments while you felt deserted, even when your religion wavered, I continue to be close to. My infant, you marvel why life has been so hard. Why so many doors have closed. Why certain people left, why pain appeared to linger longer than joy. You have cried by myself in the darkish, and though you failed to see me, I was there, amassing your tears. I do not waste ache. I do not allow storms on your lifestyles to interrupt you, but to evoke you to refine, not to smash. You ought to understand that I am not the writer of bewilderment, of despair, of evil. But I do allow trials that draw you towards me. For I know that after your palms are empty, your heart is open to be stuffed through my grace. There are instances you've puzzled my silence, instances when you've prayed and heard not anything, when you knocked and no door regarded to open. However, child, silence is not absence. In the silence I am running. I am arranging matters past your information. Just because you do now not see the seed sprouting does no longer mean it isn't growing. A number of the greatest paintings I do to your lifestyles occurs below the floor, inside the hidden locations wherein religion is cast. I see the desires to your heart, the ones you've been too afraid to talk aloud, those you've got buried under disappointment. But I've now not forgotten them. If the one's dreams were planted by means of me, then believe that I'm able to carry them to pass in my time, not yours. Put off is not denial. Occasionally I withhold a blessing now, not to punish you, however to guard you, to prepare you. What you name ready I name working. What you name detour I name divine course. You do not need to understand the entirety right now. I am no longer asking you to have all of it found out. I'm asking you to agree with me. To take the following step, even supposing the path beforehand is unclear. I am the mild to your feet, now not always the light on your future. I light up one step at a time so you will walk with me, now not beforehand of me. Dependence isn't always weak point. It is the foundation of authentic strength. While you experience unworthy, I remind you that my love for you isn't always primarily based on your performance, however on my promise. I do now not love you more while you be successful or less when you fail. My love is regular, unwavering and unconditional. You do not want to earn what I freely provide. You're frequent, cherished, chosen. Infant, do now not permit the voices of the world drown out my whisper. They'll try to define you through your screw-ups, your flaws, your past. But I call you by your genuine call, redeemed, cherished mine. The enemy wants to keep you certain in disgrace, but I came to set you loose. I nailed your guilt to the past so that you would by no means bring it once more. Prevent picking up what I already paid for. Elevate your eyes. Look to me, not to the storm. The waves may roar, the winds may additionally shake you, however I cannot will let you drown. I'm the only who walks on water. I command the seas. I'm in control even when all feels out of manipulate. Rest in that. Be still and recognize that I am God. I are aware of it's difficult now and again. I understand the burdens experienced too heavy, however I by no means intended a good way to deliver them on my own. Come to me, all who are weary and careworn, and I can give you relaxation. Actual relaxation, now not only for your body, however on your soul. You don't have to pretend with me. You should hide your tears or put on a mask. I see you, all of you. And that I still say, come. Allow me remind you, child, that I am not simply God of the mountaintops. I'm God of the valleys too. I stroll with you through the shadows, through the grief, via the confusion. I'm able to never leave you nor forsake you. My presence isn't a feeling, it's far a fact. My promises aren't fragile, they're eternal. Even when you cannot sense me, I'm nevertheless at paintings. Even while you cannot hint my hand, you can agree with my coronary heart. Do now not chase after the approval of guys. Their reviews are fleeting. 1 second they cheer, the next they condemn. However, my love does no longer change with the seasons. I knew every part of you, even the parts you try and hide, and I still selected the move. My son bore your disgrace, so you ought to walk in freedom, stay in that freedom. Do not return to chains I already broke. There is purpose for your existence. Do now not agree with the lie which you are insignificant. You're right here for a reason, on this technology, on this time. There may be a calling to your existence that nobody else can fulfill. The gifts I have positioned within you are not accidents, they may be answers to someone else's prayer. Do not bury what I've given you. Don't evaluate your adventure to others. Our evaluation is the thief of joy. I did no longer create you to mimic, however, to polish on your very own God-given identity. I recognize you are bored with ready, tired of holding on. However, don't surrender. You're closer than you observed. The step forward you have been praying for, the recovery you have been in search of, the answer you have been wanting is not some distance off. I'm operating backstage. I'm aligning things. Each tear, every prayer, every act of religion that topics. Not anything you have done in obedience to me has been in vain. Preserve stitching within the darkish. Maintain praying whilst it is quiet. Keep walking while you can't see the direction. The harvest is coming. You could now not sense sturdy, but my energy is made best for your weakness. You can no longer have all of the answers, however you have got me and I am sufficient. I've not called you to live in fear. I have no longer given you a spirit of timidity, however of strength, love, and a sound mind. Stroll boldly, no longer because you're without flaw, but due to the fact you're with me. Fear may knock, but it would not need to pass in. Permit faith answer as a substitute. Religion isn't the absence of fear, it smiles the courage to move ahead notwithstanding it. You aren't by myself. You never have been. I've placed humans for your existence, although just for a season, that will help you, to shape you, to remind you of my love, or open your heart to get hold of. Forgive the ones who've harmed you, now not due to the fact they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Allow move of what becomes so you can include what is to come. My plans for you are good, child, no longer clean, not painless, but exact. The land's to prosper you, to present you wish in a destiny. Believe me in the transitions. Lifestyles will change, but I can no longer. My love is the only constant you could construct your lifestyles upon. Storms will come. Humans may leave. Opportunities might also bypass, however my phrase remains. Stand on it. Claim it. Live it. This global isn't your private home. That is why you every now and then sense such as you don't belong due to the fact you have been made for extra. Or for eternity. For my state. Live with that in thoughts. Save treasures to be able to now not fade. Mark. Be we. Loved extravagantly. Serve selflessly. Supply generously. Forgive quickly. Talk fact boldly. Shine brightly. You are the light of the sector. A metropolis set on a hill. Allow your lifestyles reflect me. Now not perfectly, but faithfully. When you fall, get again up. Whilst you doubt, look returned on all I've finished. Whilst you sense susceptible, lean on me. Whilst you're tempted to quit, remember why you began. I'm your power, your track, your salvation. The time is short. The arena is loud, however my voice nonetheless speaks. To you proper now, through this message, through your own coronary heart, via every signal I have positioned along your journey, may additionally attention. Don't delay. These days, In case you hear my voice, do no longer harden your heart. Toddler, I'm calling you deeper. Not to religion, but to dating. I need your coronary heart, no longer your perfection. I want a while, your interest, your affection. Come sit down with me. Let me remind you who you are. Allow me heal what's been broken. Allow me breathe existence into your weary soul. You are mine, and not anything, no mistake, no fear, no failure can separate you from my love. I keep you in the palm of my hand. I go before you, I stroll beside you, and that I surround you on every aspect. While the enemy comes in like a flood, I increase a trendy against him. You are blanketed. You're protected. You're chosen for this sort of time as this. Yes, my baby, sit down with me some time longer. For I'm not finished speaking to you. There may be greater you ought to understand, not best approximately yourself, however approximately individuals who came earlier than you. Due to the fact my approaches are the equal the day past, these days and forever. And just as I'm moving for your life, I've moved within the lives of these earlier than you, individuals who walked this earth in flesh and dirt, yet fulfilled eternal functions. Their tales have been now not written by my will on my own, however via a holy partnership among their desire and my calling, between their loose will and my divine plan. Study Abraham, my body. I known as him out of the acquainted, out of his father's residence, right into a land he did no longer know. However, understand this, it was no longer forced. I did no longer drag him out. I invited him to accept as true with, to walk, to observe. He may want to have stayed to your. He should have stated no, but he believed me. That notion was counted as righteousness. His journey became now not easy. There had been moments of doubt, moments he attempted to take matters into his own fingers. Yet even in his missteps, my covenant remained. Why? Because his heart grew to become in the direction of me. I honored that. I guided him. I molded his lifestyles right into a tale that still echoes throughout generations. And what of Joseph? My like dreamer. He noticed visions of greatness, and in his youthful zeal he shared them with people who could not yet apprehend. Betrayed, sold, imprisoned became this my plan. Toddler, listen. The betrayal was the product of human envy. The prison, the fabricated from fake accusation. However, I did no longer abandon Joseph in those locations. I used each injustice, each tear, every silent night behind bars to shape a coronary heart ready to govern with know-how and compassion. Joseph selected faith in the middle of darkness. He should have cursed me. He should have allowed bitterness grow. But he trusted. And in trusting he rose no longer most effective to a place of power but to a place of purpose. He preserved many lives because he walked with me, even if he didn't apprehend the street, and sit a Moses. A man with a stammer, hiding inside the wasteland, jogging from his beyond. Once I called him from the burning bush, he hesitated. He doubted. He said, "Who am I?" And that I replied, "I will be with you." That changed into all he wanted. No longer perfect speech, no longer ideal strength, simply my presence. Moses chose to obey. He selected to confront Pharaoh, to guide a stubborn human beings via impossible locations. He grew weary. Yes, he turned into not faultless. However, he always back to me. He spoke with me head to head. His will and mine moved as one, and through that union, I revealed my glory on mountains, in fire, in water, in law, and in mercy. Think of Ruth, a lady from an overseas land, a widow and not using an earthly promise, no foreseeable future. Yet she clung to Naomi, not simply out of loyalty, however, because her spirit had come to recognize me through Naomi's witness. She stated, "Your God may be my God." And by that choice, by using her unfastened will, I wove her into the lineage of kings and of the Messiah himself. Lifestyles, quiet and sacrificial, have become part of a divine legacy. Not because she compelled my hand, and not due to the fact I erased hers, however, because she aligned her coronary heart with mine. Her love, her humility, her selections, they mattered. They opened doors to generational blessing. And David, my like shepherd boy, the youngest, the disregarded. I noticed him when others did not. I selected him when no one else could. But I did no longer pressure his greatness. I anointed him, sure, but it turned into his choices, his worship, his agree with, his repentance that formed him into a person after my personal heart. David sinned grievously, and he knew sorrow intimately. However, he also knew me. He cried out while he fell. He lower back when he strayed. He selected to reside in my presence. And that I commemorated that. His throne become set up no longer due to perfection, but because of pursuit, his pursuit of me. And what of Esther? A young lady, orphaned, hidden away, elevated to royalty in an overseas empire. She could have lived quietly. She should have stayed secure. However, while the time came, she chose to risk the whole lot, no longer because she had actuality, but due to the fact she had braveness. She stated, "If I perish, I perish." Do you spot? It became her choice to step into reason that activated the deliverance I had prepared. I positioned her there, sure, however she walked the path. She allowed herself to be the vessel. My baby, those aren't simply stories. Those are mirrors, reflections of how I circulate in folks that open themselves to me. I have usually invited humanity into partnership. I do no longer choice robots. I desire dating. My will does now not override your will, I work with it through it. I activate, I stir, I name, but you ought to solution. And while you do, something lovely happens, heaven and earth touch. My divine plan flows through human palms. That is the mystery of Go Advent. I write the melody, and also you sing the harmony. Even my son, your savior, got here into this global with a choice. He was fully God, absolutely man. And as a person, he submitted his will to mine. In Gethsemane with sweat like blood, he prayed, "Not my will, but yours be performed." That submission, that voluntary imparting opened the gates of salvation. He could have referred to as legions of angels. He should have walked away. But he chose love. He chose you. This is what I need you to understand. You have a desire, each day. You are not a puppet. I made you in my image, and that means you deliver enterprise, authority, the strength to select. But with that strength comes duty, now not worry-pushed obligation, but love-filled partnership. You are not left by myself to guess your way via existence. My spirit whispers. My phrase speaks, and my creation famous. My presence stays. So do not ask most effective, what's God's will for me? Ask also, what's my will in the direction of God? Because while your will aligns with mine, all matters are viable. Sure, there'll still be trials. Yes, ache will still go to your step. However, your tail will be marked by using eternal cause. It's going to bring the perfume of heaven. It'll ripple through time in methods you cannot now see. Think of Peter. Impulsive, formidable, frequently afraid. He denied me 3 times. He wept bitterly. However, then he back. He said, "Yes." Once I asked, "Do you love me?" And I used him no longer only to preach, but to feed, to steer, to put foundations. He chose to return, and that preference mattered. Or Paul as soon as saw the persecutor, the scary. I met him on the road, yes, but he needed to respond. He had to yield. He needed to permit move of his old identification to get hold of the new one I had waiting. And when he did, oh, how the world modified. These men, those women, they had been now not superhuman. They were not protected against fear, doubt, loss or temptation. However, they selected me, time and again. On occasion after failure, now and again in trembling, on occasion without knowledge. But they'll net mine in holy agreement. This is where energy lies. That is where future is spread. And now, toddler, it's fire your flip. This moment in time, this bankruptcy of records, you're in it, now not with the aid of danger, but by way of layout. I've given you presents. I've placed goals for your heart. I have surrounded you with opportunities to pick out daily, moment with the aid of second, whether or not to stroll with me, or stroll away. I'm able to now not force you. I by no means have. However, I will hold to name. I will in no way prevent loving, never stop attaining, in no way prevent believing in what I planted in you. Go searching. This world is groaning. Such a lot of wonder without course, without hope. However, I have located my mild in you now, not with a view to hide, however to shine. You're part of a lineage of faith, a tapestry that spans generations. What you do matters now, not just for your existence but for people who come after you. Similar to Ruth's loyalty birthed royalty. Much like Esther's braveness saved a country. Your obedience may additionally alternate greater than you can consider. However, do not be afraid. I do now not ask for perfection. I ask for presence. For willingness. For a coronary heart that announces, "Here I'm." I will offer the power. I can fill your mouth. I will cross earlier than you. All I ask is which you yield now, not out of fear, but out of love. Love for me. Love for others. Love that flows due to the fact you have got first acquired it. You aren't forgotten. You are not too far long past. You are not too overdue. The identical energy that raised Jesus from the grave lives in you. The same love that formed the heroes of religion surrounds you now. The equal voice that called Moses, Esther, Peter, Paul, that voice is looking you. Do no longer delay, my toddler. Do not watch for best situations. The time is now. The harvest is prepared. The sector is waiting. Select me. Walk with me. Let us write this chapter together. And when the day comes that you stand earlier than me head to head, you'll not remorse a unmarried step taken in religion. You may no longer desire you had stayed safer, smaller, quieter. You may have fun that you lived fully, bravely, freely in my love, via my spirit, and with a heart set on eternity. I'm nevertheless the God who component sees, who actions mountains, who speaks via burning bushes and still small voices. I'm nonetheless the God who turns ashes into beauty, mourning into dancing, weak point into power. And I am your God. Your Father. Your friend. So come, my infant. Let us walk forward together. The arena might also shake, but my country will no longer. My purpose in you'll stand. My love will in no way fail. I'm here, and that I continually could be. Amen.